Hi, and welcome to Journey to Union. I hope that you are all doing very, very well and having a beautiful day so far. So today I want to talk about the signs your sacral chakra is healing. And this is so important because your sacral chakra is so important in the process to attain inner union and for the union process, because the sacral chakra is the one that holds all of these traumas and blocks and everything that we need to face, and all of the wounding, our core wounds, our ego layers are all intertwined in the sacral chakra. And so today I want to really go into more of the sacral chakra, which is your pain body, and talk about some of the emotional and physical signs to look out for when you're going through the sacral chakra initiation, activation, and healing process. So this is a very important step in the union process. This is a very, very important step. And a lot of the times, from my personal experience, your twin might actually activate you to heal your sacral chakra. So this can happen in many ways. Their energy might come in to activate this process and to start the healing in the sacral chakra. So this is how it personally happened for me. I went into a very deep healing of the sacral chakra for, I would say, few years, where my sacral chakra was purging a lot. And this was because there was a lot of things to clear in the sacral chakra. And then this is related to the womb space as well. So for the male divine feminines, this is the same process. I have a lot of questions asking about the males in this process. It's exactly the same process. Yes, you don't have the same biological template, the same biology, but you still have a sacral chakra, you still have chakras, and you still have the sacral chakra, which is very much important in terms of healing the divine feminine aspect, the divine feminine energy. And so this is really important here. So it doesn't matter if you are a male divine, like if you're a male divine feminine, you are still healing the feminine principle, and you're still doing that energetic work in terms of being the divine feminine. So it doesn't matter the gender here. So this relates to everyone. So if you are the feminine, the divine feminine, you're going to be going first in this process. You're going to be activated. You're going into the healing process of healing all of these things, all of these chakras and all of these blocks, and doing the pain body work and really working through the lower three chakras to then come higher, because you cannot ascend higher until you have worked through the 3 layers of the ego, and which are related to the lower 3 chakras, and that allows you then to go up. So this is so important. If we have soul trauma, if we have any wounding, this is preventing us from ascending. This is preventing us from going into the heart. So we have to work through all these layers of the lower layers, the lower 3 chakras, in order to get to the heart. So this process is very much about working with the lower 3 chakras to heal them, to clear them, because we are clearing a lot in terms of our template and, you know, all the past traumas, all the wounds. We're clearing ancestral, we're healing the DNA, we're activating DNA, and the main work is actually in the lower 3 chakras is to heal all the energetic blockages, all the miasma, everything that has accumulated. And this can be related to also the karmic blueprint that you have, that you came into, the family line. So if your family line has, you know, a lot of trauma linked to the feminine energy, for example, or just the generational trauma related to the feminine, which is everyone has feminine healing feminine imbalances in the ancestral line, because that's how it's been on the planet. The feminine energy has been very out of balance on the planet. So we are working to rebalance the feminine energy here. And the sacral chakra is one of the main healing to do in order to rebalance the feminine and come back into your goddess, come back into your feminine power. So yes, we start to work through the lower 3 chakras and we go up. So we do a lot of the root chakra, the healing of the sacral, the solar. The main one that we focus on, or that I focus on, or that I feel you should be focusing on, and that will naturally happen for you, is the sacral chakra, which will be activated to heal, and you will be feeling the symptoms. So we're going to go over the symptoms now. We're going to go over the emotional and the physical symptoms of the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is your pain body. Most traumas experienced that have not been resolved or released will create energetic blockages in this area. So the sacral chakra is your pain body, everything that we have stored in, multiple lifetimes, multiple layers. All of these ancestral blockages and traumas are going to be linked into the pain body, which is the 2D body, which is the sacral chakra. So that creates a lot of energetic blockages, and depending, like I said, on your ancestral line, you could have had more to do with this, with the pain body, and there's more for you to clear. So we take on the template of our ancestors, the DNA. So we also have to resolve those issues in our actual ancestral DNA. That's what we're here to do and clear. And as a divine feminine and doing this journey, that's what you have signed up for, and that's what you're here to do. That's your role, that's your work here to do. So the second chakra issues and imbalances relate to the following. So it's related to our relationship to others, our relationship to our inner child, subconscious programs and archetypes we carry, instinctual body processes and reactions, creative intelligence flow, and our passion, purpose, female empowerment, and actually connecting to that divine feminine energy and stepping into the goddess, which starts at the sacral and then moves into the heart, and the reproductive issues as well. So the physical symptoms that you may experience on this journey, and these are a few of the physical symptoms that I personally experienced going through my sacral chakra healing. Like I said, this is a big initiation, and this happens usually through the phases where we go into more of that inner, deeper work. Perhaps at the same time that we're going through the dark night of the soul. So it can be very much connected, but this is really a big initiation for the feminine on the journey. And this is really to do with the alchemy and her alchemizing all of this stuff that has to be healed in the lower centers and in the pain body. So we're really working with the pain body. And so this is the feminine energy. She has to alchemize all of this for the shared template. So we're going into some of the physical symptoms, and the first thing that you may experience when you're being initiated and activated to heal your sacral chakra is that you will feel pain, discomfort in the abdominal area. So you may feel this, just general pain, discomfort, aches. This is part of also ascension symptoms, because we are clearing a lot of density, and a lot of the density is in the second chakra. So this is really about working through all of this karmic pain, this miasma, everything. And this is what's causing all this pain and discomfort. When all of these energies start to come up, you will feel very much like very bloated, sometimes maybe even IBS, pain, discomfort. will come up during this healing phase for you. But again, this is a really good sign. And obviously it doesn't sound like it's a good sign, but this is a sign of that there are, the process is happening, you are releasing, because releasing and healing doesn't happen without some kind of discomfort. Okay, we have to get uncomfortable, because the denser energies that we're releasing are not going to be comfortable. They're not going to be fun to process. I don't think any of this is actually fun. I think that a lot of this is quite difficult, but I feel that we are here to do this, and we know how to do this. A lot of us are very powerful, souls, and we wouldn't be doing all of this unless we knew we could do it, and that, we actually knew we could go through this to come out the other side. Like, none of this is by accident that we are doing this whole journey, and, that this is happening. This is ascension. Ascension is uncomfortable. Ascension is not like you wake up and you're in 5D. It's actually a process of really shedding the density, and in order to shed the density, you have to go into the density and feel. And so a lot of us can get into victim mentality on this journey. We can really feel like, oh my gosh, why is this happening to me? This is so painful. And I was there for a long time. I was in victim mentality on this journey, where I was feeling like so much was coming up for me, so much pain, so much stabbing. I was like thinking like, what's happening to me? But this process was very much divinely supported for me. Like I didn't have to be out there working anymore. It was very quiet for me. So I was really going inwards to do this processing and inner work. So it was very much all divinely orchestrated, and the divine will support this process for you if you are on this journey. So you don't need to worry, but you need to know that you need to get out of the ego, because the ego is going to go into victim mentality. You need to come back into the higher self and your soul, and come back into what you're here to do, and realign with that. Because at the end of all of this, you're going to be a brighter person. You're going to come out so much more healed and positive, and feeling so much lighter in your body, and feeling amazing. Really, that's how I can describe it after all of this, because it's all purging this density for how many eons of time that we've accumulated as humanity, this density that we have to release. So this is what's happening. It's very much it's an uncomfortable process to go through this sacral chakra release, but it is happening for you to come into your light, and come into really clearing the physical body and your soul from all of this trauma. And so the second sign is cramping and stabbing aches in the navel area. So this is very common. You could experience a lot of stabbing and cramping. This happens a lot more when you're activating the Kundalini, and the Kundalini will be activating for you to help you clear a lot of this lower density. So the Kundalini is very important, and part of the job of the Kundalini energy is to clear the lower 3 chakras and clear this pain body. And you will have obviously a lot of symptoms to do with the Kundalini energy, and you will feel that when you're going through it, because it's not like you can ignore when there's this huge life force energy coming through your chakras. It's going to cause a lot of physical problems. Most of the Kundalini energy, because it's so powerful, it's exposing a lot of this miasma and all of these things that are blockages in our energetic body. It will expose that, and it will cause physical problems very intensely. For me personally, that's my experience. So cramping, stabbing aches in the navel area is associated with healing your sacral chakra. Again, if you are feeling a lot of these symptoms, you need to obviously get it checked out. I would recommend, making sure that it is spiritual and not a physical issue happening. Physical as in something is wrong, right? So we're talking about energetic process here. So I knew for myself intuitively that it was an energetic process. So I knew that I was okay. But if you're not sure and you have symptoms, please obviously see a doctor and get it checked out. But a lot of the times you will feel, that this is more of a spiritual process, and then you'll realize that it's all fine. So the third thing is extremely painful periods and PMS symptoms heightened. This is related to if you are female. And again, if you are male, you will have very big mood swings. That will happen because PMS is it's related to your hormones, and it's related to the imbalances and the emotional things that we haven't processed. So this is related to the feminine energy. So we are clearing that through the sacral chakra work. You may feel like your periods is very intense, because it's all related to the reproductive organs. Your sacral chakra is connected to your reproductive organs. So this will all be amplified during this process. There's going to be a lot of changes because you're changing physically and you're releasing so much density. So this will all be very, very obvious that there's something going on within your body. It's not going to be a process where you don't feel like there's something happening. It will be very obvious that there is a transformation occurring. And then number 4 is itchiness around the navel. So this can happen when there is like toxins releasing. I have actually experienced like itchiness around my stomach area when there was a lot of density coming up. So this could happen as well. The number 5th thing is aches that penetrate the legs and around the lower chakras. It can be a lot of like very painful aches, or just like feeling like there's a lot of density, almost like a muscle pain that you can feel around that area, and can actually penetrate the legs and around the lower chakras. So again, if you're feeling this, if you don't think it's spiritual, please get it checked out. And then number 6 is lower back pain. This is very common with ascension symptoms, because we're clearing so much from the lower chakras that we have a lot of pain. And lower back pain is one of the main things that you could experience. You may experience this, randomly, or you can experience this like when you're going through this this clearing and healing. So this will actually be something that is very common when we're going through major upshifts in energy, and when we're clearing those lower chakras. Number 7 is bladder infections or excessive excretions of feminine fluids. This is really associated with the womb chakra and balancing the sacral chakra. This is really a lot of this is when you're going through like the void stage, the celibacy, when you're really going through really keeping your energy to yourself and doing the purification. A lot of this is the purification process. This is what's happening here. So you are clearing a lot of these things, and your body is actually clearing them through the fluids and excretions, or you may have bladder problems because the sacral chakra is related to the bladder. So you may have this happening to you as the womb is getting healed, as it's getting purified, as you're releasing all of these ties, energetic ties to partners. This is all happening, and this process is very much your body trying to just purify as much as possible everything that was there before. So clearing everything from the past. So let's talk about the emotional symptoms that could happen during the sacral chakra purging process, healing process. So the number 1 thing is abandonment wounds can be coming up, feeling like no one wants you or loves you. Past memories of abandonment surfacing could be related to parent or romantic. So there's a lot of abandonment wounds that we are clearing that we need to work through. And this could be related to even your twin, related to anything to do with him, or even just your parents, any other romantic partners. You could be clearing all of these abandoned wounds when you're healing the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is very much related to all of this. The The second sign that you're going through sacral chakra releasing on an emotional level is self-love and self-worth issues, over-analyzing yourself, self-comparing yourself to others, not feeling connected to yourself. So there's a lot of self-love and self-worth issues that can be coming up during the sacral chakra releasing or healing process. So this is a very important aspect to heal, because we want to come back to really loving ourselves unconditionally and really establishing our self-worth. And so through this process, you will feel like you're releasing all these layers of emotions linked to even just hating yourself, or, the self-worth issues will be surfacing very powerfully for you. Number 3 is jealousy showing up, feeling envy of others, comparing yourself, and insecurity issues. So this is another big thing that we are releasing, and the aspect of us that is envious or comparing ourselves, insecurities could be coming up. All of these things are surfacing during the sacral chakra healing and releasing process. So again, this is when you will be most likely isolated and you're going through this deep healing, releasing a lot of these emotions that you haven't faced, that are even linked to, your ancestral DNA and the feminine line, or anything that is in the pain body, in the subconscious that we don't even know is there. We are releasing all of this. And I just want to mention also that the moon and the moon cycles are actually helping us heal our feminine aspects. So they will be helping us to amplify all of these things. So you may find that during the moon cycles, like during the full moon or new moon, you may actually feel like all of these like wounded feminine energy start to surface. And wounded feminine energy is what we're healing here, and a lot of this is the wounded feminine. So we are re-establishing that and healing this. So jealousy is, big immensely tied to the wounded feminine aspect, and we are, through the moon cycles, we are really healing that. So you can track this yourself, because for me, for a while, I was really focused on a sacral chakra work, and I noticed that during the moon cycles, during the full moon or new moon, my all of these emotions would come up, and I would feel very moody. I would feel a lot of these wounded feminine aspects start to surface. And this is what we need to heal within ourselves, is the wounded feminine aspects, because we need to come back to our divine feminine. And in order to do that, we need to heal the wounded feminine, which is, all of these emotions and densities that we are still holding on to, these traumas. And so a lot of this will be showing up for you during the time that you're healing your sacral chakra. And so the fourth thing is codependency wounds, feeling very needy, clingy, feeling attachments to certain people. And this doesn't even have to be your twin or your divine counterpart. This could actually be other people, karmic relationships, or, other soul connections that you still have ties to, that are on this codependent level, codependent energy, or, even just these relationships that, you have been keeping around that are no longer serving you. So this is all really being highlighted here and being healed and being released. And so a lot of this will just come up for you to see very clearly, like very much in your face, and it's going to cause you to spiral, and it's going to cause a lot of these lower emotions to surface. So feeling neediness, clinging to people, feeling these like attachments to certain people, and codependency patterns. Codependency is a big wounded feminine aspect that a lot of us do need to heal, and that's a big core wound for a lot of women. especially the divine feminine, she's very much suffering from codependency, and that is because we haven't been connected to source and we are very disconnected. So codependency is very much a fragmentation, and it actually causes us to look externally for external validation. So this has been a generational thing for women, and so we are here to really clear a lot of these generational wounds and blocks and heal the feminine line in our ancestry. So this is what we're healing here, the wounded feminine. And you may have the codependency as a core wound. So the codependency was actually a core wound for myself, which I had to clear on multiple layers and levels, and it was intense. But I realized that that was my core wound, and that was what I had to process. And this was processed through the sacral chakra healing, releasing, really understanding your emotions and understanding what they're linked to. Becoming self-aware is so important, and really tracking your emotions to see the patterns, because then you can actually see what are your core wounds and what you're here to actually work on and heal. So the fifth thing is that you could be feeling very depressed, sad. There could be a lot of grief coming up. So this is very common when we go through ascension, when we go through healing density. We need to go into the density to feel it and then to release it. And a lot of this could cause depression or all of these lower emotions that are linked to separation, because separation is all of this, right? And it's stored in our 3 layers of the ego and the pain body. So this is what's causing a lot of the separation, is because we have a lot of these densities and they need to be processed. They haven't been processed in eons of time. And so we were not able to ascend. And so in order to actually go up, we have to master the lower 3 chakras. We really have to master. And the main thing is to master the pain body, to really go into the pain body, see what's there, and then transmute all of that. Because it's all weighing you down. And so that is the main thing to do here. You have to work through the lower 3 chakras by actually working through the pain body and mastering all the layers to that. And it's not a process where it's going to take years and years and years. You can move through this in a matter of months, weeks. It's a very quick process at this point, where we're moving through it very quickly. And we purge very quickly. We purge very fast. We purge, all of this is just coming out very, very rapidly at this point. So we're not taking years to move through any of this anymore. So number 6 is you are an emotional roller coaster. You are emotionally unbalanced. 1 minute you're feeling one way, the next you're processing another emotion. You are just all over the place. So when I was healing my sacral chakra, this was me. I was feeling like I just didn't even know what was happening. I was feeling emotionally like there was just an emotional roller coaster happening within me. I just was not stabilized in any energy. I was moody. I had lots of PMS. My period was crazy. And my divine counterpart at that point was actually activating a lot of this healing for me, and my sacral chakra was really activating when I felt his energy coming in. And also he was mirroring something to me that needed to be processed, and there was a lot of trauma associated with that, linked to just past identity, past life. There was a lot of layers, but it was something that needed to be cleared from the sacral chakra. So you could be feeling this as well. It was quite intense for me in terms of this healing process in the sacral chakra. I'm out of it now for the most part, even though I do have some times where I still feel density coming up in the sacral chakra, but not to the point where I used to have it. And that's something that you still kind of have to clear layer by layer by layer. and sometimes your body will just naturally start to clear anything that's not supposed to be there in terms of energy. So it's kind of like just like housekeeping. So that's kind of what it is. But once you clear through most of this density that we're holding on to for so long, and we repair the damage to the DNA, and by clearing this miasma, by clearing this density, we allow then to integrate more with our soul, and then our chakra can spin energy and life force, and that's what you're regaining. You're regaining your life force in your chakra, in your chakras, and especially in the sacral chakra. And you will feel like this lightness after the whole process has been done. And so a balanced and healed sacral chakra is feeling grounded, safe, and stable, feeling emotionally stable, and no unhealthy attachments to people, places, or things, and no external validation needed. We are confident, connected to self. We have a high self-worth, self-love, and we're also sexually empowered. We know how to use our sexual energy, and we're feeling more in tune with our feminine energy and in our feminine creative power, and able to use our creativity. So this is when you stabilize more when you balance the sacral chakra, you stabilize more into this, where you're feeling more emotionally stable. You have purged a lot of this trauma, and you really feel a lot better on the inside because you feel like you have let go so much density. And you will regain your power as the divine feminine, because the power of the divine feminine, or the initiation, really starts with the healing of her feminine energy, clearing the lower 3 chakras, and then going up into the heart to activate the goddess. And this is so important for the feminine to go through this initiation in this process. And so this is a really important part of the union process. So if you're feeling like, you're going through this is a very important step in to activate the union and go into the union process. So some tools to help you when you're going through this intense healing is journal your emotions. So this is so important. Get a journal, spend time really writing down what you're feeling, and really disconnect from, really just journal what is coming up for you, what are your emotions. This will allow you to see the patterns, the karmic patterns, any imbalances. And this is so key and important to actually start to journal your emotions. This is part of releasing and clearing and healing. This was helping me so much. It helped me so much that, it was just the thing that really got me through those hard, uncomfortable moments and emotions, okay? Spend time in water, taking baths, going to the beach, sea. Is very important for healing your sacral chakra. Drinking a lot of water in general is really good for this process. Spending time really connecting in nature, going out in nature, spending more time outdoors, really connecting to the earth, and really grounding yourself. I spend a lot of time in nature, and that was where I healed, because I wasn't really connected to nature at all before this process of really doing this work. And then I really started to connect with Mother Gaia, Earth, really on a deep level, and she was really the one who was healing me so much. And I was going out in nature all the time, sitting on the ground, sitting in the sun, sitting and just, feeling. So this is so important to do. And the last thing is, we need to actually heal. We need to actually feel to be able to heal. So you need to really understand that this is going to be uncomfortable. All of these emotions are not going to be comfortable to work through. There's a lot of density, right? And so this density has to be acknowledged in order to bring it into the light. So it's going to be a very hard process for the most part, but you need to actually heal. You need to feel everything. You need to be able to actually acknowledge all of this past trauma, this shadow, which you haven't acknowledged. So a lot of this is the shadow. When we talk about sacral chakra healing or ego, it's all linked to the shadow body, or the shadow work, as people call it. This is all the same thing, or even the dark night of the soul. It's all the same. It's all going inwards to face all of these unconscious things, the darkness that we haven't faced, or that is in us, that is in our emotional body, that is in our pain body. We are facing all of that in this process in order to actually bring it into the light. But we don't want to get stuck in these emotions, in these lower energies. That's the thing. We want to alchemize it. We want to feel it. We want to alchemize it. That's what you're here to do. You don't want to get stuck and trapped in the dark night of the soul for years and years and years. No, you don't get trapped in that. And if you are, then you are doing something wrong, I feel, because you can't get trapped in these. You move through it. It's energetic shifts, and you shouldn't be trapped in, so long in the heaviness. So I would, really check if there's really something else going on. And everyone's process is different, so I don't want to say right or wrong, or that you're doing something wrong, but you should be moving through this. It's energetic shifts. So you go through one phase, you go through the other phase, you constantly keep moving through the phases. So that's how it is. So you don't want to get stuck in these different phases for too long, and then obviously processing everyone is going to take it's going to be different for everyone going through these phases and stages, and you need to take as long as you need, because you may take longer to integrate lessons or to energetically shift. But it should be that you're moving through it rather than getting stuck through these processes. And you could be also going back to dark night of the soul, or healing something that, this is layer by layer. Some of these wounds are so deep, on such a deep cellular level, that we have to actually heal it layer by layer. So it's not something that is going to happen like very quickly. I'm not saying that, but you shouldn't be getting stuck in those for a long time. It should be very much like you sometimes go back into the dark night of the soul. Maybe you go through dark night of the soul for a while, for a bit, but it shouldn't be this process where you can't get yourself out of it. So it's a process of really facing our core wounds, doing the shadow, and this is what the sacral chakra healing is really all about. It's really going inwards. And the sacral chakra is a lot of the emotions, the traumas that are linked to these lower emotions that are also linked to the wounded feminine. Like I said, this is so important to remember that we are healing that wounded feminine energy within us. And that's what the divine feminine is here to do, and then to come back into her divine feminine power, right? So this is what it is, because a lot of us are in the wounded feminine until we go through this process of healing all of that to come back into our divine feminine power. And this is so important, because this is the polarity work. This is us realigning, rebalancing our energies, and then those energies can work together in harmonious union and come into union, because that's how they are separated, because these energies are not balanced individually, and so there's reversals on these energies, and so we're healing that for the energies then to merge into one, and for these energies to merge. And so this is really important to understand. So I think this is all for the sacral chakra healing. There's a lot again to cover in this, but I hope this all makes sense to you. Thank you so much for being here. If you liked the video, please like the video, please comment and share the video, subscribe, and I send you lots of love, and I'll speak to you in the next one.